Welcome to Inspired Conversations, Living the Legacy with Legends. My name is Nkwarabilos Domogoto and I am your host. Many campaigns have been put into place for women empowerment, but less for building the men. For us to build a better society, both men and women need to be developed. Today on my show, I have one and the only Mrs. Africa 2019 finalist, and she is passionate about building both men and women. And she's here today to share more about what she's doing. How's Naomi? Everything. Thank you for coming to my show, and you are very welcome.
It's only a pleasure, and thank you for the invitation.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Mrs. Africa 2019 finalist.
2020.
Oh, 2020. Oh, not 2019.
Because there's already one that was crowned in November.
Okay.
So there's a reigning queen already.
Okay.
So all the finalists, if you crowned in, well, I'm going to be crowned, obviously.
No, we are looking forward. No.
So for the next coming 12 months after November, then you'll be the reigning Mrs. Africa.
Okay.
So you'll be crowned for 2020, not 2019.
Okay. No, thank you for correction. Now, but we are looking forward for that. But before that, just tell us more about Kimang Aus Naomi,
Okay. My name is Naomi Molema. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of one. Which, every time I speak of my daughter, I see God's heart, because it took me, I think, 7 years to actually conceive, when you go to doctors and they tell you, what, there's no hope. You're never gonna have a child, But I'm a very spiritual person, by the way. My faith kept me going, and I was like, my God said it's not over until I say it's over. So in my mind, I had those words: until God says it's over, it's not yet over, And what I'm also currently doing is I have a project for young people in my community. I'm from Kagiso. It's Mr. and Miss Kagiso. The message behind Mr. and Miss Kagiso it's not all about beauty, as you would see other beauty pageants, where we're looking at how you look, how you walk on stage, Because sometimes you might look beautiful and you might have the perfect walk in the world. However, you do not have the heart for your community. So Mr. and Miss Kagiso is all about that. It's about cementing identity, number one. They need to know who they are and what they stand for. Number two, they need to be a brand themselves before anything else. Before they even think of doing anything, they need to know who you are. If you don't know who you are and what you stand for, so anything and everything that comes along, you think is the right thing because you don't know who you are. And furthermore, I have now a project that's called Keep a Boy Child in School.
Before that, another project.
Okay.
I just want to go back to Mr. and Ms. Kagiso. What inspired you, before you even go to many projects, what inspired you to start that one?
I was a very troubled young girl growing up. I was raped when I was young. I've been molested. I'm from a family where my dad was, I don't want to say abusive, but at that time, I didn't like the environment, He was very physical, to a point where it was, most of the time, it was not nice at home. If it's not my mom crying, it's my sister or it's me. So I grew around that type of environment. But I never spoke about it. I never had a voice, Even after I was raped, I didn't even tell my parents, because during that time, no one spoke about rape. And this man said to me, this is going to be our little secret, And young as I was still in primary school, if not grade 3. I didn't know what he was talking. All I knew is that we're having this secret. And as a child, I was intrigued. Okay, this is exciting, And I remember it came to a point where he would not ask me. I would say to him, but what about our little secret, So yeah, it happened, I think, I can't remember, but it was more than a period of a year, because I'd lived there for a very long time, until I then moved to come and live with my parents in Gauteng. I was living in the northwest, in Zeerust. Came this side, my dad had a shebeen, and when I came this side, I was in standard 3. And I don't know if my dad believed in me. He thought I was smart enough to run a ship, when he's not there. So when he's not there, I would tell Ibia via the butler, and some of these men would take advantage of me, they would touch me inappropriately. They would tell me about secrets. I'm like, oh, but I'm good with secrets. I mean, I've been doing this, from a young age, and I didn't realize that by me not talking about it, it was destroying me inside. I think earlier when I mentioned that it took me 7 years to conceive because of what happened to me when I was young. It was not attended to, it was not treated. Therefore, I remember one of the doctors said to me, so if you don't get treatment for whatever is wrong with you inside, the system tries and fights itself to try and defend you from whatever that is happening at that time. Now, they did a scan of how I look inside, and then they took a scan of a normal woman, how they look in the inside. So they showed me this one, the perfect one. They said, okay, this is how a woman is supposed to look in the inside. And then, okay, we went through that, and then they took out mine and said, this is how you look in the inside. So basically what is meant to be here, it's somewhere else. Everything moved around because it was trying to defend itself. That is why I think before I could conceive, I had 7 operations, and they could not get to my womb because there was too much layers of fat. They said, I know I don't look fat, but apparently I've got too much fat in there. So I don't know, it's the fat hiding, And I went through all of that as a young girl, and I didn't speak to anybody, Even in school, I was one of those girls that I didn't have a lot of friends, but I was very naughty, And when I started my periods, I remember I felt like, oh my God, I did something wrong. And if I tell my mother, they're going to ask, what did you do? Now I'm thinking of that man, of all the secrets I've been keeping. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get into trouble. Young as I was, so there was a time where you would get pets from school. And there were times when they would not give pets, And those were days where I needed to make means, try and find whatever I could find and use that, But eventually later, I found the courage to tell my mom, like, Mom, this is what is happening. And surprisingly, she was like, okay, yeah, it's normal. And okay, to cut the long story short. So I had a lot of pain inside of me. I had a lot of things I was dealing with as a person. However, I didn't want to share my pain. Because part of me felt, if I tell Onkarabetsi what I'm going through, he's going to take away my pain. And this is the only thing that I know. This is the only thing that makes sense to me. I remember I even had a husband in my mind, the kind of husband that I want to be married to. If he loves me, he has to cause me some pain. If he loves me, I cannot go to bed without crying. Because that's the only love that I knew, and the only love that I could relate to. Because even the man that was raping me said to me, I love you. But there was pain attached to it. I came back this side, and each and every man that touched me in my father's house said to me, they loved me. But there was pain attached to it. My father said to me he loved me, but he caused us so much pain in the house. So everything that I knew about love had pain attached to it. And I thank God that before I found my husband, I found Jesus. And I learned how to love the right way. I learned how to be me the right way. I remember I was making an example the other day. I had a boyfriend. I think I was in high school or after high school. He would beat me up for no reason. And I loved him for that.
Now tell me, how did all these things lead you to actually start this project of Mr. and Mrs. Miss Kagiso?
So, right, let me wrap it up then. So out of all of that I went through, I realized I didn't have a voice. And in my mind, I said, there's probably a million other girls out there that don't have a voice, that went through the same things that I went through. So when I started Mr. and Miss Kagiso, it was never about their beauty, but it was a tool that I used to get their attention. So once they join the project, it's a 6-month project. It's not a once-off. Okay. So they get given tasks. They get taught how to give back to the community, how to know who they are and what they are, and how to speak and how to find someone that you can confide in. You can't face everything on your own. It's gonna swallow you, it's gonna consume, it's gonna become too much. We're teaching them to say it's okay, even if you did something wrong. It's not your fault. But now that you're here, now that you know better, Be a better person. And the reason why I did Mr. as well is because I wanted men or young boys to understand the pain that they're causing to the other gender, and the other gender to understand where this gender is coming from, so that we can collide, and balance the equation and actually get to understand where this one is coming from and where is that other one coming, and build a better society. But you'd find boys don't want to compete, because if you're competing or if you're doing a beauty pageant or whatever, in the community told you are weak, you stubborn, So we struggle to find young boys that want to compete. That's when I started, okay, this year I decided I don't want them to compete. Well, I have 3, if not 4 this year. We're starting project to mentor young boys as part of Mr. and Ms. Kagiso. They don't have to actually compete, but what we need them to do is, on the day of the finale, they need to escort these women. Into stage, they need to be gentle. We need to teach them how to be gentlemen. We're killing this. We're busy, grooming women. I remember I suggested on my radio interview that we're building these women. Who's going to marry them if we're forgetting about the men? And men carry the seed, and it's very sad that you'd find a young woman who went through all these seminars, who went through all this training, ready to be a wife, and yet there's no man that is ready to be compatible to be a husband to that woman, or to be a father. I just want
to know, since you are now mentoring boys, in your mentorship, are you guys including, just to explain to them, as you said, that you struggle to find those who can compete. Mm-hmm. So in your mentoring, are you now encouraging them that when you compete you're not stubborn? Because that's the challenge. The ones that compete, like that, I'm still a man. Because now, at the end of the day, we don't want it to be like a blockage now in your vision, or you will now only have Miss Kagiso and not Mr. Kagiso.
And I refuse to only have Miss Kagiso. Exactly. I need this man on board,
Yeah. So I think that they need to be, they need to be mentored, they need to be encouraged, because we grew up in a society where we had that mentality of, a man must not do this, a man must not do this. Exactly.
A man cannot cry. But no one is teaching you, okay, I can't cry. What do you want me to do with my emotions then? Because I'm human too, I go through things too. But if you're saying just be a man, Mama Bang Shapil, be a man. Men don't cry. How? Go fight back. Yeah. You see, we're planting this seed. Yeah. One day he's old enough. Ushapam Saji. Oh my God, Kante, go and fight back. And especially if they come back, no, go and fight back. Yeah. You can't be beaten up by a woman. So he grows up knowing that no, a woman cannot beat me up. I need to show them who is the man. But it's good to say, okay, you need to know that you're a man, but let's teach them how to be men the right way, not with their power and their physique, and Yeah.
So my request is that please just make sure that you mentor them in that area. I also want to attend one of the event where I see them competing, not ushering only the ladies, because you started this as Mr. and Mrs.
No, I still have. I'm not going to take away the Mr. So I still have boys, but I also want to encourage the others to come and see that these guys are actually men enough. There's nothing wrong with them. And if anything, they are brave enough to go and stand and compete and say, it's okay to lose. If I lose this one, I'll probably win the other one that's coming,
No, I think you're doing a great job. As we just said, me and you now, that mentality, hashtag must fall. It must fall, because now.
Trash. Oh my God, my father is no trash. I don't know which trash they're talking about.
So really, we grew up knowing that, as you have said, men must not cry, men must not wash dishes. Now the question is, what are you going to eat with if you don't wash dishes? You want to eat in a clean dish, but you don't want to wash. Who must wash your dishes?
And that mentality has destroyed our society so bad, and we don't even see. We've taken away the uniqueness of what God has created. He created women to be appreciated, and He created men to appreciate. But we're living in times where I need to be a man. because I don't want to depend on men, because I'm broken inside, and my brokenness, I'm bleeding into my child. My child is going to grow up broken, and a broken family gives birth to a broken, child, and a broken child gives birth to a broken society. And our future is doomed because these kids are bleeding. They have nowhere to go to. They've got no one to cry to. You're fixing a girl, tomorrow they bump into this guy that has no one to mentor them. And everything that you've done right to try and say, this is how you live your life, because he's in need to be loved. He's in search for attention because maybe the father is not there. Everything that this boy says or this man says erases everything that you have taught them. But can you imagine if this boy has been mentored and this girl has been mentored and then they come together, knowing who they are and what they stand for? They will build something beautiful together, We are absent in our own lives because of what we teach others. Sometimes I grew up with that mentality to say, if my mother, for example, says to me, men are useless, men will only hurt you. When you go into a relationship, you're going with that thing that your whatever that your mother has planned to say, ishkonje men are like this. So when you go into a relationship, you're going in as a spectator. You're not even there, you're waiting to see. And then if someone does something, my mother did say. So we don't actually give ourselves enough time to love and let it just erase. I always say, in everything that you do, be sober-minded. Clear yourself of everything that you can say, this is Unkarabeti, this is not Tom, this is him. Because if you do something, I'm going to say, you all like that. Mama did that. Let us be sober, man. And
so you also teach young girls about what you are saying now, like, for they must not have that mentality of saying all men are trash.
No, men are trash, And I also have a movement called You're Not Alone. That's where we speak to women to say, we're in this together. But if you're keeping it inside, I can't help you, And I don't think the problem is that people don't know, it's that we're living in a world, we're very desperate for so many things. We confused, like there's no direction even in our country. You don't know what tomorrow holds. You just want to live for now, and whatever works for you now, it's okay. Forgetting that there is still tomorrow, You need to do enough today to make sure that you sustain your tomorrow. But if you're living just for now, just because of everything that happened in your past, you'll never get a chance to live your life fully and, to the best of your ability.
Now, I just want to know, apart from, in your project where you mentor them, apart from knowing the identity, knowing that man is not every man, or is not every woman who is doing this and this, what are other topics that you actually cover? Do you also cover such health issues, especially for men, for young boys?
We cover everything. So when the program starts, like June 16, that is something that we did last year. I have an issue, and it's a serious issue, with people wearing school uniform and going to pubs, because it has become a tradition. Every young girl that's going on, they can't wait to be old enough and wear a school uniform and go and get drunk. Those people fought. During that time, it was not a nice time. So what we're doing is, it's a march against, not on my watch, not with my school uniform. You will not go to a pub with my school. If you want to go to a pub, it's fine. Do it on your own time, with your own clothes, not on my school uniform. We're trying to say, let's restore the memories of those who died for our freedom. Let's do it the right way. I keep on saying we're planting these seeds. I know I used to do that when I was growing, like wear school uniform just for the fun of it, because I didn't understand the message of it. But no one is teaching the message today. When just 16, just wear your school uniform and that's it. Those who go to pubs or whatever, they go and celebrate. There's no, that history involved to say, but you remember what happened. People died on that day. I think there's just a lot to be done in this. I know I can't save the world, but I've always said if I can save one soul, that's enough for me, And the other thing that my PA was saying to me the other, just got a PA recently, and then she said to me, this is a lot of work. I said, yeah, people don't understand. They see a beauty page and they see we doing this, because some of them come from different backgrounds. Some of them, I need to mother them. You know, if they call me at 12 and say I have an issue, I wake up and I listen. You know, some of them don't have a support system at home. I need to be that, you know. From 2013, when I started with Mr. and Miss Kachis, I don't know how many children I have out there, but I've got there's a lot of kids. Like, they will come and say, Mommy, this is the situation, you know. And I would stop whatever I'm doing and I would pay attention. If it's humanly possible for me to do whatever they want, then I will do it for them.
Now, I just want to know, Tsego, you know, you are a Christian, right? You know, you love God. You are doing a godly work, if I can say. Now, I just want you to encourage us as Christians, maybe people like me as a Christian, the need and the importance of taking the gospel outside the walls of church. You know what you are doing?
Come on. Now you're taking me to church.
What you are doing now, you are doing something that is the will of God. You are helping people, but not in a pulpit. You know, just encourage us to have that because many Christians have that stereotype that, you know, for me to help people in the will of God is for me to preach, stand on the pulpit to preach, you know, to go to hospitals and pray for the sick. But just encourage us, teach us about it.
Before you go in there, I didn't mention I'm an ordained pastor.
Oh, that's good.
However, I don't preach it out there. I want you to see it in me. So I'll never mention that. Now, in order for you to reach out to somebody, whether you're a pastor, whether you're a doctor, whether it does not matter what profession you hold, you need to come down to their level and get to know the person. Forget about your holiness. The problem with Christians is that we're too holy for the world. Therefore, it's hard for the world to come to us because we're too judgmental. God says, come as you are, and we're not allowing these people to come as they are. Already, I know, when you enter into my church, I'm thinking, oh, and I'm going to treat you differently because I'm too holy, And in our holiness that we think, we make a lot of mistakes. And I always use an example as my marriage, but I thank God that I truly love my husband, because when I got married at that time, I was too holy. I didn't want to be touched. I was really like, no, we need to do it the right way, because I would feel guilty the next day, So we put our holiness in front of everything. If someone invites you to a party, you want to ask if there's going to be alcohol. Yeah, there'll be alcohol. You're not going to be drinking that. Exactly. Go to the party. Yes. No one said there's a devil that lives inside that alcohol. And the more you come down to their level, the more you accommodate, they open to you, I see it with my models. Because most of them, until they're in my space, only they know, oh, you also a pastor. I didn't know. Because I don't go out there trying to be holier than thou. I'm out there and I am Naomi. I have a foundation called Naomi M. The root of hope. So what we do is on a monthly basis. Now we're coming back to these donations that people normally do. And I'm hoping that everyone can adapt the same mentality. We do the drives, maybe for example, winter is coming, we're doing a winter drive where maybe we're collecting sanitary pads and roll-ons. Then we take it to a particular school. For that one day, you come and you see Naomi and you give me hope. I have a sanitary pad for that month. Next month, you're not there. So what we're doing is we have a database of young girls and young boys, and every month it's a responsibility of me and my team to say, okay, in our database we've got 15 girls, for example. We need to go and deliver pets to 15 girls. So every month we have a responsibility to give out a roll-on to that boy and a sanitary pad to that lady. It makes no point giving me hope one month, then you're going to come back again in December. If you're going to help me every day. I'm in need every day. There's no food at home every day. I go to my monthly every month. I need a pad every month. I need a roll-on every day. It should not be a once-off thing. So let it be, there's a project that I'm running also with my other colleague is called adopt a child. Not physically adopt me and I come and live with you, but out of your salary or whatever that you make, give me 50 rand. Then it will be my responsibility to go and buy that sanitary pad. It will be my responsibility to go and buy that roll-on or whatever that child needs. And it will also be my responsibility to ensure that it gets delivered every month.
You are taking me back now again to the same issue that I asked you about, about the gospel outside the walls of church. When you say out of your salary, you remind me about 10% now. We have this mentality of saying, 10%. I remember I heard a very powerful story of a certain pastor. His 10%, his tithe, he was not bringing it to church. He was taking 10% and taking it to the poor. That was his 10%. And one day his child got sick. And he prayed, the child didn't get healed. Until God said to him, how I'm going to heal your child, not with your prayers, but with your tithe, when you take it to the poor people. So we have this mentality of saying,
that you must go to church.
exactly, my money must go to 10%. The pastor let me preach. If you don't give tithe to me, what. I think, it's a high time.
We need to change our mentality. Yeah. Our mentality is actually killing our society. Yeah. The 10% is an agreement between yourself and your God. He knows I might take 500 every month to church. You are not if that is my tithe, but God knows.
Yes.
But if He knows that if I'm earning 10,000 every month, there's 1,000 going out of my salary to give to the poor. Yes. In James, he says, I think it's James 25, he says we must take care of the orphans. That is part of His mandate as pastors, as Christians, as those who says we love the Lord. We must serve the people of the Lord. Not only a church. A church is just a beauty. We are the church. Wherever we go.
I know you talk too much.
And I do.
Before Nago Ereshapa, let's talk a little bit, as we are getting finished, about your pageant now, not Mrs. Africa. I mean, how do you feel? You just explained in the beginning that, you will be crowned, we believe. 2020, right?
Yay!
Tell us about your journey.
I wanted to join last year. However, I found out about the pageant later. Now you see, this is how the devil works. He will try and steal away the things that he knows are, this one, if she gets this one, she's gone. So early this year when I wanted to join again, I was admitted in February for 2 months. Story for another day. Yeah. Functioning with one lung, but look at me, look at my God. Yeah. Anyway, so I only found out again, I think it was in April, a colleague of mine said, no, it's still open, you can still enter. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not leaving this. The reason why I joined, number one, was to have enough platform so that I can reach out to more people, not only in my community, not only in my province, not only in my country, but in the whole of Africa, Yeah. I believe I've got so much to give to the world, not because I can, but because of the one that lives in me, the one that has sent me to serve His people. And I checked the Mrs. Africa page and their values, their mission, and it was aligned with my purpose in life, what I stand for. Practicing the spirit of Ubuntu, changing the lives of others, having the heart of your community, the heart of your continent, giving back to the society, taking what you've been through and using it as a tool to change the world, change Africa, change people, touch life, to bring a difference into someone's life. That is one of the reasons why I joined. And I can also reach out to so many souls with what I've been through. Someone can look at me and say, if she was able to do it, then there is hope for me. I'm not broken. I'm not falling apart. If there's one thing that I never, ever, ever do to myself is pretend I'm not okay when I'm not okay. When I'm not okay, I'm not okay. You should see me when I'm not okay. And I don't just cry. I cry with an agenda. Because if you just cry every day, you will cry for the same thing over and over. And I'm crying because but from this crying, Lord, I need healing. And teach me how to love him beyond what he has done to me.
Now, is there any voting lines that you can vote for?
So my number is Mrs. 11, and then you send it to 47018. Mrs. 11, guys, please vote. And you send it to 47018.
And how much is the cost for the vote?
It's to rent, and then free SMSs and bundle SMSs do not count.
apply.
Yeah,
We always say that all the time. and how many times can I vote?
you can vote as many times as you want, and the more you vote, not only will I be crowned Mrs. Africa, stand a chance to also be the face of Africa.
Oh, nice.
Look at that,
Nice.
the face, Mrs.
No, we have to support. We have to
Please.
support that. We have to support. No, thank you for coming to the show. You know, I hear and I know that you have a lot to say, but unfortunately, time is not on our side.
I know. I needed at least 5 hours.
Yeah, no. Maybe we can just squeeze you next time and see, how to come up with another angle so that you can be with us again. But it is a wonderful time to have you on our show, and all the best for your pageant.
Thank you so much.
We believe that you will be crowned. And next time when you come to the show, you'll be
Of
heavy.
course.
Yeah.
Why not?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Inspired Conversations, Living the Legacy with Legends. My name is Nkarabilo Mukoto, and I'm saying to you, let's meet next time, same place, on Global Conference TV. The journey continues.